What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Gibson A Go-Go, the show that geeks out about all things Gibson. Now, the last couple episodes dealt with Thunderbirds, but this time we're talking about my Thunderbird. As you remember, well, I mean, I guess the green one is too. It's right back there. But as you remember in the last two, the non-reverse and the Gene Simmons, in both of those videos I said, you know, they're cool, but they don't hold a candle to mine. Well, this is mine. And we're going to talk about what it is, what I've done to it, what makes it so special, why I like it. There's a series of modifications on here, but before we get into that, let's go back and listen to what this bass sounded like when it was stock. Those samples were recorded clean, direct into the wiretap, and I'm reamping them into, at this moment, I don't know what. I'll put it right here. So that's what we're running into, but that was the bass, all stock. Just, I think the strings was pretty much the only thing I had changed at that point. There's nothing wrong with the stock pickups, like I've said before. I just didn't like the way they interacted with distortion, and since I'm a distortion player often, I needed something different, but we'll get into that in a minute. But I remember when I got it, April or May of 2020, it had something special to it.
What the French call a certain, I don't know what.
Then, as you probably remember, sometime later, we did the EMG Thunderbird pickup shootout. So during the shoot of that video, it became apparent that the TBTW was my favorite. These are ceramic steel magnets in here, and they're dual mode pickups, so they have two settings. There's a dual coil mode and then a single coil mode. Both modes are hum canceling. So the humbucker or the dual coil is equivalent to the CS pickup. So if you like that ceramic steel sound of the CS, it's in here. And then when you switch it to the single coil mode, it's the JCS, which is, they don't offer as a standalone pickup. It only comes in these splittable ones. But it's a J pickup with, you know, jazz pickup with ceramic steel instead of the ceramic that you've come to associate with EMG. So it's attenuating some of that like unnecessary top end that you're probably going to cut anyway. But still having a lot of clarity, and again, these cut through and interact with distortion in a way that's much more pleasing to me. So before we move on to this craziness down here, I wanted to get the other guys' opinions of these pickups because I thought they sounded really good, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't just by myself in an echo chamber, you know, saying that they sound awesome. All three of those guys are pretty like this when it comes to active pickups, so here's their take on how these pickups sound in this bass.
It's no secret that while I do enjoy poking fun at your infatuation with Gibson, this bass brought me extreme dread. I hated it. I hate to even use that word. I hated it. But plugging it in and playing it with these EMG pickups, it's light years ahead of what it was. These ceramic steel combination, whatever the steel is adding, the mojo to these pickups, if that is the case, EMG, well done.
There is this like awful perception about that every single EMG is like super clangy, and I'm totally guilty of that myself. I've told you straight at the gate, like, I don't like EMGs. I don't like them. Boomer noises, you know? But no, this does not sound clangy and bright. As I told you, like even earlier, I was like, this doesn't sound super duper bright. It doesn't sound all clangy and clacky, which is good because I don't like that. I don't care how good the neck feels. I don't care how good the body feels in any instrument. If it gets really clangy and clacky and clicky, I'm not about it, you know? This sounds great. I don't know what EMGs these are. I don't have a clue, but I think they sound dope.
Probably me and Chuck, probably the two people on the bass channel who are the most passive bass kind of dudes. I love my vintage passive tones and not having batteries to mess with. But this sounds good, and it's a surprise, and it even feels better because it's giving me more overtones, it's giving me more punch, it's giving me more snap, a little bit more of the high-end zing, especially with the coils tapped. I think plays better because I don't have to play it as hard.
Okay, so now that we've heard a lot of talking about it, let's actually listen to them again. Let's go back to our pickup shootout showcase comparison video, and let's listen to these TBTW. Now, at the time, again, we were just using the push-pull volume, so it's an individual push-pull volume for each pickup, played by Jamie Lewis, so it's a lot better than what I can do, and let's check them out. So that video did well, looks good, it sounds good, Jamie plays great. These are all things that are obvious to you and you probably already know. But what you don't know is that during that shoot, we were not able to fit the control cavity cover on the back because the push-pull pots were a little too tall for the cavity, so the cover would not go back on. So all the loose wires and stuff were just kind of taped right here with masking tape. But I knew that these were the pickups that I wanted, so I figured, okay, well, I have to figure out how to get this all in the cavity. You know, I can't use the push-pulls. So I ordered these switches. They're just two-way switches from EMG, which again meant that I needed to drill more holes because I already had to drill the hole for the output jack. This is the part I skipped a minute ago. This originally comes with a barrel jack, but EMGs require a stereo jack so the battery can activate when the cable goes in. You can get stereo barrel jacks if you're a patient person and if you're a person who is good at soldering. I am neither. Point is, it came with a jack that would fit under a pick guard to a fender or something of that nature. You know, most of the jacks that you have on most any other bass. But I wanted to do it now and not wait. So that was the first additional hole that I drilled, was for the jack. So it was originally 3 pots and the jack. And then when it came time to do these pickups and I needed the switches, there goes 2 more holes. And I couldn't be happier with them. I think they sound good. Okay, maybe that's a lie. There's one thing that I would like more, and this is gonna go into the next thing, is I just wish they were chrome covered, because this bass comes all stock with all black. And I don't really like all black on Tobacco Burst. So the first thing was the knobs. I found these somewhere on eBay, I think. I don't know. They're cool. They have the old like top hat kind of look to them, but they have the set screw, which is nice. And then the next part of our chrome adventure is this Hipshot bridge. But my original choice that I was gonna do was the Babix. There's so many ways to pronounce it, and I'm gonna get it wrong, just like a USB. No matter which way I put it, it's the wrong way. That one. So that was the one that I wanted. That's the one that I bought. That's the one that I tried to put in, only to find that the post spacings on this bass, they were just slightly too narrow or something. I don't know what was going on, but I would put the first, stud in and it would go pretty okay. And then the second one just got to a point about halfway in its, travel, it just got stuck. So again, when you lack patience, you tend to think, no, I'm not gonna let some screw bring me down. I'm just gonna muscle through it. Bad call. I chewed that screw head. The chrome on it is just done for trying to get it off. So then my next stupid idea was to try to put the Hipshot kick-ass bridge, because that's a great bridge. I love it on Fenders and stuff, and wasn't thinking it all the way through. Why wouldn't it work here? Oh, because there's a 14-degree neck angle is why. But you'll see in some later shots, I ended up just stubbornly drilling the holes, mounting the bridge, stringing it up, only to find that it is impossible to get those saddles high enough to where you would need some kind of shim underneath. So again, regrettably, went back to the stock 3-point black bridge once more. And then we finally landed here. And I have to say that the first time I saw this bridge, in pictures, I wasn't a fan of the shape. I didn't really care for the aesthetics. A lot of people posted it on their LP Juniors and black ones on their T-Birds and But I picked it because I do know that Hipshot's a great company. I have nothing but good experience with their other products. It's chrome. And when I looked up on the website to compare the post spacing between this and the other one, this one was slightly more narrow. And I thought, okay, so it should go in, no problem. So enter 2 nights ago from today. I thought, you know what, let's put it in. Let's get it ready, let's shoot it, let's get the video prepped. Everything should screw right in, no problem. And again, the bass side screwed in, no problem, and the treble side had the same issue. And you would think that I would learn my lesson by now, but I didn't. And I just like, strong-headedly just continuing to drive the screw in, thinking that maybe it's just got a little, I don't know, like a little boogered in the threads or something. I don't know, so just keep going. And it didn't end well. So, I mean, obviously I did eventually get it to work. A big key ingredient was this stuff called Easy Does It from this company Berryman that luckily I did some other video work for like a couple weeks ago, and I just had the product laying around because I needed to get shots of it. And now we get to use it again. Part of it dripped and kind of ruined the nitro a little bit in places. I'm sure you'll see it on some of the close-ups, but I don't know, it's not a huge deal. That's all I'm going to tell you about my problem solving, because the rest of it will probably make you cringe into next week. But it's on there, it's solid, if the strings are off, I could pick the bass up by the bridge and everything's good. So it's in there, as unorthodox as it is. And now that it's in there, I love the way that it looks. I mostly love the way that it functions, the way the string sits in there. Everything is just awesome about it. It solves every problem that I think me and almost everyone else hate about the 3-point. And then of course, once I put the bridge on, I slapped some new strings, which in this case are the Elixir stainless steels. I've had the nickel wounds on there for a little while, but just going back to stainless steel for the moment. Okay, so moving up to the headstock. This was kind of a threefold decision on the Hipshot Ultralite. The first being, most importantly, is their chrome. I wanted everything to be chrome, love chrome. Second, I got the drop tune, so now I can go down to drop D and back at a whim. Now, the funny thing about the drop tuner, or the bass Xtender, which is the official name, is I've heard like a lot of people say like, well, how often do you need to drop D and then go back in one song? And so last night I re-recorded an older song of mine that I wrote when I was like 20, and just because I could, I switched back from D to E in one song, so here it is. Now, this song is actually like 14 minutes long because I was trying to channel 2112 or something, but there is a whole section in the middle that the entire part is in D, so again, if I need to play that song ever, or what, I can just drop it pretty easily, do what I need to do, and then bring it right back up. So back to the tuners. Again, they're chrome, drop tune, covered all that, and they're ultralight. So it's just yet another piece that I have helping me to fight against neck dive. The installation was easy. There was nothing that really went wrong, or finally something that didn't go wrong. Tuners went in pretty nicely. So I actually weighed these tuners against the stock ones on a postal scale. And then obviously, you know, the drop tuner is heavier than the stock tuner, but the other three are much lighter than the stock to where it all evens out. When all four of these are on, they're lighter than all four of the others. And then another bonus is this bridge is also quite a bit heavier than the stock bridge, so there's more weight here, less weight here, kind of helping it balance a little bit more. But when it's on a strap, whether you play like, you know, me, I'm a little bit on the low side, or if you play ridiculously low, or if you play ridiculously high, there really isn't a significant amount of dive. Like you'll notice it moves like an inch. So again, I think there's a number of things I have going for me to fight that. Light tuners, heavy bridge, leather strap. I can't recommend a leather strap enough. And on to the final and least exciting mod of the day. I've moved the rear strap pin where it's normally in the center here, up here a little bit more on the wing, and I've also replaced it with the Warwick strap lock system, whatever they're called. I don't know, I just really like them, and they're chrome. But this was less about neck dive. I don't think this really does anything in terms of alleviating neck dive. What it does is it alleviates the tilt forward, because your pivot point is no longer the center, it's more here. So the bass wants to kind of like hang more straight instead of falling from the weight of the wing. And it's just an idea that I got from Spectre bases. Most of their rear strap pins are up higher. I've considered moving the one back here, which is still in the regular location. I changed it for the Warwick, you know, that works with the Dunlop strap lock. I've considered moving it up here. That does pull you a little bit more away, so it wouldn't help with neck dive, but it would help with the tilt forward, which I still don't like the tilt forward thing. This helps. And then putting it here would completely get rid of it. But that's just, I gotta kick that around. I may or may not do it. But for now, that just about covers everything that this bass has to offer. Of course, the glaring omission that we haven't talked about is the awesome bass channel sticker that you can get for yourself right down below. If you have a T-Bird, have you done any mods to it? Are any of them similar to what I've done? Let me know what works for you, what you like about it, what you dislike about your T-Bird. And hopefully this inspires you to either, I don't know, copy it one for one, or just do something in this vein that works for you. Whether that's different pickups, or different tuners, or a different bridge, or what have you. And if you do change your bridge, let me know in the comments, did it go smoothly for you, or did you struggle immensely like I did? Anyway, I want to know about all that in the comment section. So, that's just about all I have to say about that. Hopefully you like the mods, but if you didn't, luckily you don't have to play it. So, until next time, I'll see you next time, and scene.